Hello, today we are comparing the iPhone 14 versus the Samsung Galaxy S23. The S23 comes in two storage options, 128 gigabytes for $800 and 256 gigabytes for $860. The iPhone 14 comes in an extra storage option of 512 gigabytes, but it costs over $1,000 and probably is not worth it. The 256 gigabyte is only $40 more than the S23's 256 gigabyte. When it comes to the screen, they both have the same screen size. iPhone 14 has the Super Retina, while S23 has the Dynamic AMOLED 2X, which, in my opinion, looks better. The iPhone 14 has a higher resolution than the S23. You won't really notice it unless you're really looking for it. The refresh rate on the iPhone 14 is 60 Hz, as the S23 is 120 Hz. Now, just looking at it, you won't be able to tell the difference, but if you get used to 120 Hz display, the 60 Hz will start feeling very choppy. But it does drain a lot more battery, and that's the thing you want to watch out for. The brightness on the iPhone 14 is 800 nits max and 1200 peak, while the S23 is 1200 nits max and 1750 peak. So you have a brighter screen, which you don't really need unless you're in the sun. The processor on the iPhone 14 is the A15 Bionic. It's a little bit of an improved version over last year's iPhone 13, but still the same processor. While the S23 actually has a new processor, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy. It's an overclocked 8 Gen 2. It has a clock speed of 3.36 gigahertz, and the iPhone 14 is 3.24 gigahertz. The iPhone 14 CPU Antutu is 212,927, which is really impressive. But the S23 definitely is ahead of it with 260,299. The Antutu for the iPhone 14, for the GPU, this is where you notice the difference in gaming performance. It's 344,469, while the S23 has 537,760, which is really impressive for a phone. They are both 5G capable, and I think what explains why the S23 is so much faster is the 4nm process compared to the 5nm process from 2 years ago. The camera, the iPhone 13's camera, iPhone 14 has a dual camera, while the S23 has a triple camera. It does have more megapixels, and it has a telephoto, but the camera really all has to do with the software editing, so it's really your opinion as to which one takes better photos and videos. S23 does have 10 times more zoom than the iPhone 14, while the iPhone 14 only has 3 times. Actually, that's what I found researching. I'm not sure if that's actually true. The highest video recording resolution is 4K at 30, while the S23 has 8K at 30, which most people will never need, but it's nice to have. The battery on the iPhone 14 is 3,279 milliamps, and the S23 is 3,900 milliamps. That doesn't exactly mean more battery life, because you have a more powerful processor here, a brighter screen, and iPhone is really good at optimizing their batteries, and that's what they're known for. The charge speed on the iPhone 14 is only 20 watts, and S23 is 25 watts, which actually makes quite a bit of difference for some reason, because the charge time in the iPhone 14 is about 2 hours, while the charge time on the S23 can be around 70 minutes. Battery life on the iPhone 14 is an impressive 9 hours and 28 minutes. On the S23 is 8 hours and 54 minutes. So you have a 30-minute difference, but this charges much faster, and honestly, I think it's kind of equal. The design on the iPhone 14, on the back of it, is shiny and modern, but the front has really thick bezels and an ugly big notch that I'm surprised after all these years they still haven't gotten rid of. The weight is 172 grams, so it's not too heavy and it's not too light. The back of the S23 is very simplistic, modern, and has a matte finish, which I personally enjoy more than the shiny. It has normal bezels and a small hole punch camera on the front, which is way, way better in my opinion. 168 grams, so you won't notice a weight difference at all. So, iPhone 14 wins in battery life and has one extra storage option. The S23 has a better screen, better processor, and faster charge speed. The design and the camera are subjective because a lot of people like the iPhone 14's design, while a lot of other people like the S23 design. In my opinion, the S23 is the better phone and is much more worth your money, but if you're iOS, then iPhone 14 is probably the best way to go. Thanks for watching.